Hi everyone! With this migrant crisis in Europe, we've been facing some pretty bizarre issues, and one of them is the child brides of these asylum seekers. Because some of these asylum seekers, they bring with them these, say, 13-year-old wives, who already may have babies even. And what to do with them? Like, basically they are families, so they should be housed together. But on the other hand, the girl is clearly underage. She's a victim of child molestation and most likely forced marriage. So she should be placed in a children's asylum seeker housing center. But that's not how the Danish officials see it. In Denmark, the immigration officials have decided that they will allow these families to stay together because it's less traumatic for the girl. And I just can't understand this because I've been reading a lot of these stories from Muslim girls who have been forcefully married off at a very early age, and they all tell how traumatic and terrible it was. And these immigration officials, they're basically giving an okay to that. It's okay that you were married off at the age of 9. No problem there. That's completely cool over here. We are not going to protect you. Don't even try. And these are young girls. Like, the fact that they are Muslim girls, it doesn't change the fact that they are 13 or 14 years old or even 12. And they are kids. They should be at school. They should have friends. They should be shopping for clothes and chasing Pokemons. They shouldn't be housewives. And these kids, they have their entire futures ahead of them. Like, they could be anything. But the immigration officials, they are chaining these children to these old men. They are chaining them into future of being a Muslim housewife, never getting anything else done. And I don't understand this. I don't understand how these people can be such cultural relativists that they can give an okay to fucking children. They are just looking as there is a couple in which the guy is 50 years old and the girl is 13 and they know the girl will get abused and they do nothing. They just house them together. They watch over as the girl gets molested every day. This is just beyond me. And there's another case of this giving up our values in Finland, and this is an older case. And in Finland, there was this case of Muslim parents who had their 4-year-old son's genitals mutilated by a quack on a living room table. And the son got a 6-month-long painful infection from the mutilation. And the lower courts decided that the parents were guilty of assault, so they sentenced them for that. But our Supreme Court decided differently. Even though the child got irreversibly, unnecessarily mutilated by a quack and had a 6-month-long painful infection, our Supreme Court decided that it's not child abuse, that it's not assault. And the reason they gave for it is that the child had no permanent damage done, even though he did, of course. And they also claimed that it was the child's right to be mutilated because he happened to be born in a Muslim family. So they treated it as if this child was a Muslim, like he had chosen to be a Muslim, a 4-year-old kid who has no idea about religion. So they said, okay, the child is Muslim, so it's his right to be mutilated like a Muslim. And I just can't understand this. Like, why is something legal when you do it to your own kid if it would be never legal to do it to anyone else? Like, imagine if I assaulted a person on the street and mutilated their genitals. Would I get off scot-free? Of course not. Everybody would think it's completely insane and brutal. So why are you allowed to do it to your own child if you never would be allowed to do it to anyone else? Why are you supposed to be allowed to do it to a defenseless kid? This is just surreal that we are giving up our values like this. And this is this cultural relativism, like they want to believe that all cultures are equal, they're all equally good, and all values are equally good, but it's not so. It's so clearly not so. Like, it's so much better for 50-year-old guys to not fuck children. It's this much better for them to not fuck children than to fuck children. And it's so much better to not to unnecessarily mutilate your child than it is to mutilate him. And these people, they open these dangerous gates. Like, we have equality before the law. And it's always illegal to mutilate a baby girl. But what if these Muslims decide that they will challenge that? That, okay, if we can mutilate our children, our boys, and it's the boy's right to be mutilated because the boy is a Muslim, then shouldn't it be the girl's right too to be mutilated because she's a Muslim too? Like, that's the next step. And of course you shouldn't mutilate anyone, but that's how it goes. And I'm really scared about this development of things because our values are better. It's as simple as that, and we shouldn't give them up. Like, that's, if their cultures were better, if their values were better, it would be us going into their countries asking for a handout. But because our life is better, our values are better, our culture is better, our religions are better, that is the reason why we have it so good. We created better values and we enjoy a better life because of that. So we shouldn't give that up. Like, we don't want this place to turn into Afghanistan or Pakistan or Saudi Arabia. I'm just so frustrated at times with these people. Well, thank you for listening. Sorry for ranting.